YouTube, it's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, well-renowned Hall of Fame trainer, longtime trainer, legendary 8-division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, that being none other than Freddie Roach. He weighs in on the highly anticipated showdown between his fighter and undefeated, unified WBC, IBF, welterweight world champion superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, in Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. With that said, the fight is scheduled to take place August 21st, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena. They did a press conference, and after the press conference, Freddie Roach was asked a few things about the fight, what he thought about the fight. And it made no secret that he believes that Manny Pacquiao will be victorious. Obviously, he will have the confidence. But he said something that was very, very interesting. We all know that after unifying the titles against two-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Shawn Porter September 28th of 2019, Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr., he suffered a horrific car accident October 10th of that very next month, just 12 short days later. And nobody knew what was going to come of that. Nobody knew if his career was going to resume. Nobody knew if he was ever going to box again. Nobody knew what the outcome was going to be because the car accident was horrific. With that said, Errol Spence, 27 wins, no losses, no draws, 21 big wins by way of knockout. Errol Spence is 31 years of age, stands at 5'9" with a 72-inch arm reach. So Errol Spence, he made his ring return, and all eyes was on Errol Spence 14 months later, 14 months after suffering a horrific car accident, okay? And all eyes was on Errol Spence to see how Errol Spence bounced back. And he didn't choose a light touch opponent, as everybody, expected or insisted that he should take a tune-up type of fight, just to assure himself that he'll be back to his regular self, to give him the best, opportunity, essentially practice. Errol Spence, he refused. He chose to press forward with the fight that was already scheduled prior to him suffering a horrific car accident against 2-division world champion, former unified junior welterweight world champion, former WBC welterweight world champion, superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia. Well, that took place December of 2020. And Errol Spence, he dominated Danny Garcia, okay? He won every single round. The rounds he didn't win was the rounds he took off. Because of the layoff, you could see he was a little fatigued. He was looking up at the time, at the clock, to see how much time was in the round. That was in the second half of the fight, okay? But with that said, Freddie Roach was asked about the fight, and Freddie Roach says that car accident took every chance he had to be victorious against Manny Pacquiao. 62 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. He himself was knocked out 3 times, 42 years of age, stands at 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach. He says that if he didn't suffer the car accident, he would have had a better opportunity to beat Manny Pacquiao. But that car accident took every opportunity that he had to win away from Errol Spence Jr. because Errol Spence is not the same fighter. He stated that Errol Spence is clearly, a step behind what he used to be, and he's just not, the same guy, and that they're going to dominate the fight. Errol Spence has a 4-inch height advantage. Errol Spence has a 4-inch arm reach advantage, a 5-inch arm reach advantage over Manny Pacquiao, and he's 11 years younger than Manny Pacquiao. Bigger, stronger, younger fighter, okay? He's very technically sound. Both guys are southpaws. So, Freddie Roach, he believes that if he had an opportunity to beat Manny Pacquiao, it was before the accident. But after the accident, he has no opportunity to beat Manny Pacquiao. They're very, very confident that Manny Pacquiao could win this fight. And initially, Freddie Roach, he stated that when he watched Errol Spence prior to the car accident, or just overall, he says that, that he didn't think it was a good matchup for Manny Pacquiao, okay? But now that he says that he's been studying Errol Spence a lot more, obviously, seeing as though they already have a fight secure, he stated that the more he watches Errol Spence, especially the Danny Garcia fight, the more confidence he has that Manny Pacquiao will win this fight. And he goes even further. Manny Pacquiao's team says Errol Spence won't have a post-fight press conference because he won't be able to talk because he's going to be on his way to the hospital. Wow. So they're overly confident, in my opinion, that Errol Spence is not the same guy he once was prior to suffering that horrific car accident, okay? Manny Pacquiao has always struggled with technically skilled boxers, especially with guys that are rangy. Errol Spence has a 5-inch arm reach advantage. Errol Spence is technically skilled. He has a sound defense. You know, he does get hit, but he has a sound defense. He can be flat-footed at times, but he's shown us the versatility when he fought 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer Mikey Garcia. He showed that he can definitely be versatile. He showed that he can, you know, make adjustments in the ring if need be. You know, so I believe that they are overlooking Errol Spence. Errol Spence, he admitted he was only 80% of himself when he fought Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia is a knockout artist. Now, Danny Garcia is flat-footed. He has power in both hands, right hand and left hand. Danny Garcia, you know, is a counter puncher. He relies on timing. He is very, very flat-footed. Errol Spence showed versatility in that fight. He bounced on the inside. He bounced on the outside. You know, he changed levels on Danny Garcia. He used the jab. He controlled the range of the fight. He controlled the pace of the fight. You know, like I said, the only rounds that Errol Spence succumbed to in that fight was the rounds he just chose to take off. Okay, he simply at times was putting it in cruise control, obviously for stamina issues. Not so much that it was the car accident, but more so I believe it was the 14-month layoff. Okay, it was a very extensive layoff for Errol Spence Jr. Okay, his timing seemed to be there, but it seemed to be slightly off. So if Errol Spence is, if that version of Errol Spence is 80% himself that fought Danny Garcia, imagine what he'll be when he's 100% of himself. And keep in mind, Errol Spence wasn't with his strength and condition coach, Blue Ray Fitness. Shouts out to Blue Ray Fitness. He wasn't with his strength and condition coach, Blue Ray Fitness, for the Mikey Garcia fight, for the Sean Porter fight, or for the Danny Garcia fight. Now he's back with Blue Ray Fitness. Now Errol Spence has a nutritionist. He was his own nutritionist prior to this Manny Pacquiao fight. Now he's locked in. He's completely focused on this fight. Okay, I believe you're going to see the best version of Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao. And there should not be any excuses. Should Errol Spence win the fight, there shouldn't be no talks of Freddie Roach saying Father Time suddenly tapped him on the shoulder. There shouldn't be no talks of the media saying Father Time suddenly tapped Manny Pacquiao on his shoulder. There shouldn't be any media saying, well, Manny Pacquiao is just too small. Manny Pacquiao himself have been out the ring for over 2 years going into this fight. The last time he fought was July of 2019 when he defeated former welterweight unified world champion superstar boxer Keith One-Time Thurman. That was July of 2019. We are going into August of 2021. So it's been 2 years since Manny Pacquiao himself has graced the square circle. Now, Manny Pacquiao, he cites that, you know, the layoff is just going to help him because he's been a professional for 20 years. So the layoff and giving his body a rest is only going to benefit him. So again, we shouldn't have any reason to say, well, Manny Pacquiao wasn't the same guy. He was rusty because he had been out the ring for far too long. We shouldn't be saying that Manny Pacquiao, you know, just don't have, his timing wasn't there. Father Time tapped him on the shoulder. No, it should just be giving Errol Spence the full credit he deserves should he be victorious, since everybody is saying that Errol Spence, you know, isn't the same guy, or people are starting to say Manny Pacquiao, he get a stoppage victory, okay? You have Team Pacquiao saying that Errol Spence is not going to do a post-fight press conference because he's going to be on his way to the hospital. So if that holds to be true, and this is what you believe, and that's the square you're standing on, well, then Errol Spence should get full 1,000% credit for beating Manny Pacquiao should he beat Manny Pacquiao. There should be no talks of Errol Spence being 11 years younger, okay? He's just too young, too big, too strong. Because when Mikey Garcia, who's a smaller guy, 5'6", he's an inch taller than Manny Pacquiao, 5'6", with a 68-inch arm reach, and he called out Errol Spence, and you had the likes of legends, Hall of Famers, icons like Sugar Ray Leonard saying that Mikey Garcia, if this is a boxing match, Mikey Garcia by far is going to win this fight simply because he's Mikey Garcia. And Errol Spence beats Mikey Garcia, and instead of Errol Spence getting the full credit he deserves for beating Mikey Garcia, who's a surefire future Hall of Famer. No, the talk was Errol Spence should have got a stoppage victory. Mikey Garcia was too small. He should have been able to stop Mikey Garcia. He didn't stop Mikey Garcia. No, that shouldn't be the talk. The talk should simply be that Errol Spence was able to figure out Manny Pacquiao. He was able to nullify what Manny Pacquiao does great, and he was able to beat Manny Pacquiao. Plain and simple. That's it. Cut and dry. So I can't wait to see how this fight plays out. The advantages, the southpaw advantages that Manny Pacquiao normally has in his fights, he won't have in this fight with Errol Spence. And Freddie Roach, he touched on that. He said that Manny Pacquiao is much better in his fights against southpaws than he is against orthodox fighters. He loves to fight southpaws because he can dominate them. He knows the southpaw because he himself is a southpaw. So you put him in the ring with a southpaw, he knows what they do best. He knows their strengths and their weaknesses, and he's going to capitalize on it. So, again, there should be no excuses should Errol Spence win this fight. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
This is Amanda, the real deal Serrano, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.